Hey y'all, I just want to do a quick overview of the new Galaxy A14 phone. This phone has been out for about 4 weeks now, and so it's a pretty new phone. I just want to talk about just my overall experience with it, what I like and don't like about it, and if it's worth the $200. I also want to talk about real quick the case with it too. I bought a case, a Incipio case. Here, let me get a better view. Yeah, Incipio case. It's a dark blue one, and it's a great case. So this is Galaxy A14. Specifications super quick because most people already talk about them. Has 64 gigabytes of internal storage, a micro SD card slot for expandability. It uses USB Type C to charge. It does not have wireless charging. It does have an audio jack for you older cats out there. It has a mono speaker. I do have a little thing over it to help keep the dust and dirt and everything out of it. On the left side, we got a micro SD card and a SIM card slot. On the top, we just have the little microphone right there. And on the other side, we have the volume rocker right here, along with the power button and fingerprint scanner. Now, this is fantastic. This is where I want to say all fingerprint scanners should be, is on the power button, not on a screen. And the reason being is because on a screen, if you have a fingerprint reader, right, you can't use a tempered glass screen protector like this one here. You put a tempered glass screen protector on, you turn that sensitivity up or whatever they tell you to do, it doesn't work. It works like maybe 25.5% of the time, which is garbage. I want my thing to work all the time, if not a solid 90%. And screen protector ruins the fingerprint scanner. So until they can figure something out with that, I think the best place is on the power button. That, or at least at the very least on the back. Because when I pull my phone out, my finger's already like about, in this area right here. So it's going to be unlocked by the time I'm already looking at it, right? So I don't understand why these companies don't do that. They want to put them in the screen. It's cool, but why? Like, it doesn't work most of the time with the screen protector on. Anyways, that's beside the point. This phone is all plastic, besides obviously the front, it's glass. The back here, it is an okay plastic. I'm not gonna lie, it feels a little bit cheaper. It looks a little bit cheaper, for $200, fine. I get it. Now, I really do like how they did the camera cutouts this time. It looks a lot like the Galaxy S22 Ultra. We have a 50 megapixel main sensor right here. It takes very decent shots, I must say. We have a macro lens. I believe this is a macro lens right up here for those very close-up shots, and a depth sensor to help with portrait shots. Now, I might have gotten these two mixed up, but it is what it is. Now, one thing I do like about this phone is that instead of it coming with a crappy 32 gigs of storage, if we go into settings and we go into battery and device care, we'll see that this is a 64 gigabyte phone. This is the base model right here. I believe that they do have higher storage configurations. And with the 64 gigs, about 15 is used up. It's taken away from you out of the box. So you have roughly about 44 gigs out of the box, which is fantastic. For a lower end phone like that, fantastic. That really should be the bare minimum, because 32 gigs, that's not enough in today's world, and that's super weird to say, because I remember back then, back when I was younger, 32 gigs was a decent amount of storage. Now it's not. Now 32 gigs is kind of like the 8 gigabytes back in like 2010, Super weird, but yeah. It's coming 64 gigs, super cool. And then I also do have a SD card in this phone, as you can see, and it reads it just fine. And then if we go to RAM, we can see that this is 4 gigs. Again, I think that this should be the bare minimum. 4 gigs in any Android device, because anything less than 4 gigs is just, it's not enough anymore. 4 gigs gives the operating system just enough room to breathe, while also giving you enough room to use other applications in. It's not going to be bottlenecked by the RAM, So it's very cool to see 4 gigabytes in this phone. Another thing I like about this phone, I really like it, and it's what mainly drew me to this phone. It's the build quality. Now, this is a little bit of a thicker boy, right? It's a little bit thicker, but I like that because this has a good weight to it. You know, it's a little bit thicker, but it feels like I'm actually holding on to something. You know, it's cool having these super thin devices and everything, but now that everything is super thin, it's just kind of normal. Like it's just not much different, you know, and this is just kind of nice. I really do just like how this phone is. It's built very nicely despite the back kind of feeling a little bit cheap, you know. I really do enjoy the build quality of this device. I also like the display. This is a 90 hertz jeez, I can't even pronounce words right now, display. So, what that means is that it can stay it switches to 90 when you're scrolling through the phone like that, and then if it's stagnant on the screen for a long time, it'll go down to 60 hertz to help save battery life. I think that's super cool, and I like seeing a 90 hertz display on these lower end devices. 60 hertz used to be good, but again, now that's becoming like it's super weird. It's just not enough anymore. So it's cool to see 90 hertz on a device like this. Another thing I like about this phone, and a lot of you guys and girls might even disagree with me, but I actually do like the speaker on here. This has just a single speaker. There's nothing up in this earpiece besides just the little speaker for when you're on the phone or whatever. It's just this one speaker. And listening to music or watching videos, it's actually very decent. I'm not going to say I really enjoy it. I look forward to it. It's one of the best speakers because that's a total lie. It's not. But for what it is, it's a very decent speaker. It gets loud enough for me to hear whatever I'm listening to, and it doesn't distort the audio unless I have it at like max volume, which is kind of common. It's understandable because it's just that one speaker doing all the work, right? Um, Unfortunately, since it is a mono speaker, it's easy to cover it up. So if you have it covered up, just like that, whether you're watching a movie or something, it's going to muffle the sound. But again, very, very nice little mono speaker. I also like the size of the phone too. This has a 6.6-inch display, and yes, it has a little bit of a chin under here, but honestly, this looks really nice. The screen looks really nice. It's a full HD display, and content on here looks great. Like going on Facebook and everything, I enjoy. Reading things on here, I enjoy going to my Google News or whatever, and it's a joy to use. I really do like this phone for the screen as well. Now, one thing I have noticed with this phone, owning it for about 2 days now, is that sometimes when I'm on like, again, like Facebook, because I do spend quite a bit of time on Facebook, right? If I go to the home screen, whatever, it stutters sometimes. It didn't that time, which is cool. But it's not even just Facebook. It's like if I'm on an internet browser, sometimes it stutters. If I'm in a different application, sometimes it stutters when going to the home screen. And that's totally normal. It's a lower end phone, so I kind of expect that. But again, it's a little jarring at first just because it's just stuttery, and it's not a big deal, but it is one thing that I'm not a big fan of. And the last thing I don't really like about is well, there's two more things. Actually, it's the charging speed of this phone. So it charges at 15 watts. Back then, when phones had smaller batteries, that was pretty fast, right? Well, now that this has a really big 5,000 milliamp hour battery, it's going to take it a long time to charge. It takes about 3.5 hours to fully top off this phone or whatever from zero, which is just it just takes too long. If you didn't charge it during the night, whatever you forgot, and then you need to charge, you only have like 30 minutes charge, you might not get too much battery life out of it. It's just because it doesn't charge fast enough and the battery's too big for it to charge quick, right? So that's one thing I'm not a big fan of is just the charging speeds of the phone. I wish that it was at least a 25 watt. I feel like that would have greatly improved the overall speeds, but it is what it is. The last thing I don't like about this phone would be just the back. The back feels just, it doesn't feel great. It really does kind of feel like a cheap plastic, and it has like this textured stuff on the back. Not a fan. I wish they were just had a solid piece of plastic on the back. I don't even care if it felt like this, as long as it wasn't like textured. It just sounds cheap. And I get it's a $200 phone, but come on, I think it would have been just better overall to not have this texture. Overall, though, my experience with this phone has been very good. I've been really pleased with it. The battery life, I can't, reason why I didn't talk too much about it, if really at all, is because I've only had it for about 2 days. But I can say when I charged it fully to 100% yesterday at like 10, let's say about 9 or 10 o'clock at night or whatever. It's 2 o'clock almost right now, and it's only at 40%. Yeah, that was a very bad angle. Let me get this up. But you can see it's at 40% right now, and it's almost 2 o'clock. That is super cool. Like, this is a battery champ right here, because a lot of phones don't get that, you know. So it's super cool to see that on this phone. Again, I haven't had a ton of time, but you know, so far I've been getting fantastic battery life out of this. Playing games like Call of Duty has been solid. I've been able to play it at about medium settings and haven't experienced really any drop frames. I've been able to play games like Balloons, and I've been able to, again, experience it. It's just great. I've only noticed drop frames, so I'm getting up to like level 100 or whatever, and there's just so much going on the screen. But that's not a bad thing, because a lot of devices, even Apple's M1 chip in the iPad Air that I have, I can only get up to about round 160 before it starts to like really lag. So for this to get up to round 100 before it starts to really lag is very good, you know, because again, it's a very intensive game once you get up to around level 100. So would I recommend this phone? Uh, I'd have to say yes. I would, despite the minor drawbacks, the cheaper back or whatever, um, slower charging speeds and everything like that. It's still a great phone. I think they did very good at pricing it at $200, because you're getting a lot out of it, and the drawbacks aren't really too much. Overall, it's a great phone. I could recommend this for just about anybody. Honestly, the only type of people that won't recommend it for would be somebody who wants to play the most intensive 3D games on it, and you want those 60 frames per second or 90 frames per second. You're not going to get that on something like this. This is a lower end phone. It wasn't really made for that. But if you're somebody who likes to game casually, who wants to read Facebook articles, or check the email, watch YouTube, this is a great device. I cannot say enough good things about it. I really like it. I love the look and the feel of this device. It feels extremely solid. It feels, I don't want to say like a brick. That kind of sounds bad, but it's just, when I hold this, I feel like I actually have something in my hand. It doesn't feel like very thin, extremely light, and I kind of forget about it. No, it feels like I have something in my hand, and I really like that a lot. It's something that you'd have to go into a store and kind of experience yourself, because it's very weird but very cool. And I'm not sure if it's because they made it like a little bit thicker and boxier, or what it was, but great phone. I'm very happy with this device, and I can recommend it to just about anybody. And then I do want to talk about the case real quick. So again, this Incipio case, whatever, I paid 25-30 bucks for it. I know I was overcharged a little bit. I think these would go up for like 20 bucks on Amazon or whatever. But I'm very happy with this case despite being overcharged for it, because I was able to get it right now, and it feels really nice. It's a very solid build quality. You can see that it has all the right cutouts for the little fingerprint reader, and this doesn't get in the way either. I've been able to use a fingerprint reader just fine. I like the volume buttons. They do still retain the clickiness of the volume keys, and it has all the cutouts on the bottom from the microphone, audio jack, little USB-C port, and the speaker. And then we have a little cutout right here. It feels like a very solid, nice case. It doesn't feel cheap in the least bit. And another cool thing I've noticed too is that it does have these little feet, just very little feet on each corner, to kind of help it from sliding around on the table, and to help the case from getting scratched like crazy. Like, it's not going to get scratched easy, but it's very cool. I really like this case, and I could tell that they did at least take a little bit of time when designing this case. I cannot recommend this case enough. Let me get the box to show you, because honestly, if you are going to buy this phone, absolutely get this case. It's the Incipio dual layer slim protection. I don't think this inner part comes out. I did try taking it out, was a little worried about it, so I just left it in. I just popped my phone in, worked just fine. And we could see the raised edges, cool, kind of helps the screen from breaking if you drop it on the screen. We have whatever protection to help against germs, cool, gotta fight that COVID. And then yeah, there's some other little things you can see on the back here as well. And yeah, it's just something you just slide on out, take the case out, and pop it on your phone. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed my video. If not, cool. If you did, that's even cooler. And let me know what you guys think about this phone. Honestly, I'm very happy with this phone. I was excited when I saw photos and reviews of it and everything, and I had to go get it, and I'm very happy with it. Honestly, I think I am going to keep this phone. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd like me to try, please let me know. I'd love to do that for you guys. And yeah, you guys all have a good night.